there's little kids throwing rocks into the ocean as they were surfing. Just like fucking.
Yeah. I remember that part.
As a little kid, I threw rocks everywhere. I don't know why kids do it. It's just
Dude, I fucking still throw rocks.
why do we throw rocks? I don't know.
I'm 35 years old. I will still throw a rock into water. I don't give a fuck.
I know.
It looks
I don't know
cool.
why. It does look cool. You want to see how far you can throw it. You want to see if it
Yeah.
curves. You want to see if you can skip. There's so many reasons to throw rocks.
You want to see how much of a splash there is? You want to see if you can hear it? It's fucking... Who doesn't want to throw a rock into water?
Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
Jesus Christ. Woo, you got hyper.
Hyper.
All right, this is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we break down a different record from a different band. And this week, we're not just doing a band, we're doing a movie. And while you're listening, go to do the usual stuff. Go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, give us 5 stars on there. Our handle on all the social medias is Asinine Radio, so get into that. We have a Discord server if you want to join that. Hit us up. We'll send you a link, and we have a phone number you can call. Leave us a voicemail. Shoot us a text. The phone number is 503-893-5307. So get into that. And now that the boring intro is out of the way, what are we doing today, Jeff?
We are doing the soundtrack to The Endless Summer.
Now that's a short intro, but that's fine.
Super short.
So
Short
let's
and
give
sweet.
our origin story on the movie, because I'm sure our origin story is the movie, not the actual band or the soundtrack. So what do you got for that? Go.
The Lord is good to me. That's such a good song, though. The Endless Summer theme song. It's stupid
Oh,
good.
dude, it's fucking insane.
See, I think my origin with Endless Summer is probably like my surf class that I took at FJC, Fullerton Junior College. Like my first semester there, my second semester there, and part of like the deal or the curriculum was to watch the movie. I mean, it was just it's a surf class in college, right? So like, how serious could it be? And so like part of the curriculum was to watch the movie.
Only
And
in
then-
fucking Southern California, man. Orange County.
I know. And then there was some other stuff we had to do. Like I had to either call or spend a good amount of time on the website of, I forgot what the name of it was, but that sewage processing plant that goes from the Santa Ana River runoff to the ocean. There's that plant that's right there.
Yeah.
Whatever that is called, I'd either call them and ask them like certain questions, or go on their website and find these questions. So like there was like curriculum, but really the class was just show up at Huntington Beach every Thursday morning at 5:30 and surf for an hour and a half. But that's like the first time I watched The Endless Summer was that surfing class, and I don't know, that's okay.
Oh. It was just okay at the time. All right.
That was fucking unbelievable. Like I've always liked surf music. I've always just really, really liked surf music, but I never got into surf music aside from the big names, like until the surfing class, until Endless Summer. And then I really never dove into it as deep as I am now, because of the vinyls. Like that's why I'm as deep as I am now, is because of the vinyls. So it's been like a progression, and it's cool. I like it. It all sounds the same, but it's amazing. I like it.
It's fucking good though. Who cares if it sounds the same? It's too good.
Yeah.
All right, my origin story, it started in high school. The first time I ever saw the movie was, I don't remember the teacher's name. It was my freshman year. Mr. Hoth? Well, no, not Mr. Hoth. Fuck, he was the earth science teacher. Did you ever have him? He was kind of a short guy, blonde hair, had a mustache, and he had the gopher from Caddyshack, and he would always play him. And then we'd always watch Adam Sandler movies because he loved Adam Sandler.
No.
You don't remember that teacher? Fuck, what was his name? Anyway, it was him. He was a fucking super rad teacher, and he made us watch, outside of the Adam Sandler movies, he made us watch Endless Summer, and that was the first time I ever watched it. And I thought it was fucking super rad, but I never went back to it until probably after high school, and then I just kind of became obsessed with it. I watched it a lot, and I mean, just this week, I watched it 3 times. Just this fucking week, I've probably seen this. I've seen this movie dozens of times, and I still get like a thrill out of it. I don't know why. There's just something so calming and weirdly nostalgic for a time that we were never a part of. It's super weird, but I fucking love it. So
there's a lot of reasons for that.
Well, I mean, because where we live, and that's, I mean, there are a couple spots in the movie that are we've both literally been there before, like the Wedge. I mean, who hasn't been to the Wedge? And and I think, what did they go to Malibu as well, right?
Yeah,
we've been to Malibu. I mean, it's just like a couple of these spots we've absolutely been to. It's pretty fucking rad. But
I know.
So you watched it twice this week, 3 times as well, right?
I watched it 3 times. Yeah.
Fucking shit, dude.
It's because it's not just like a surf documentary, and documentary's loose because obviously it's chopped up to make things look cooler than they were.
Yeah.
Like they're finding these spots, like the perfect wave when and Cape St. Francis, that was chopped up. That path they took down to there, that was a different path from a different beach. But he decided to use it because it looked cool for them to stumble upon this beach, when in actuality they didn't stumble upon the beach. So documentary is a fairly loose term, but for the most part, like this is it, man. This is like Wanderlust at its best, and it's so basic in its approach. It's so dumbed down, and it's not just a surf doc, but it's also almost like a hero's journey. Like these two kids and their buddy who's filming them are going on a quest to find like the perfect wave. Like that's like a hero's journey. It's also about like trying to like find inner peace and triumphing over something. So you're rooting for these 2 guys that you never hear talk.
I know,
you
isn't
hear
that
their
crazy?
voice. Nothing. So it's there's so many endearing things about this movie that extend far beyond than just surfing. It inspired people to not only just surf, but to travel, to explore parts of the world that may seem scary or far away or too different than our own ways to assimilate ourselves temporarily. And so it helped. It helped. It was it's so fucking cool. Everybody likes surfing.
Yeah, how can you not? It's so much fun to watch.
It's so calming.
And people, I mean, even just being out, like just myself, just being out there. I mean, I can barely stand up on a board. I'm terrible. But even just being out there, just even body surfing or like boogie boarding, I don't give a fuck. It's a ton of fun. It's so much fucking fun. Even when you crash and wipe out pretty bad, like after you get up, you're like, wow, that was really scary, but I can't wait to get back out there and do it again.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a weird adrenaline rush when you're being pushed to the bottom of the floor and you cannot move because the current is so strong, and then all of a sudden the current just completely disappears and you could stand up or just get some air. It's a weird feeling.
It's incredibly like humbling. It's incredibly humbling because you think like when you surf, you're like harnessing the power of nature. You are dominating something. You are overcoming like some obstacle that not everybody can do, and it takes like it takes guts and it takes brains and speed. But when you do like wipe out, you're reminded that like you're just being allowed to ride these waves as long as Mother Nature wants you to at any given moment. Like you're fucking dead if she wants you to be dead, and that's cool.
And it's so funny, like you go out there, like even just like fucking boogie boarding, man. You go on like a 4 or 5 foot wave and you wipe out on that and you feel like you're gonna die. But then these surfers are going out there riding 15-foot waves. The biggest wave was 85 feet.
Fucking dumb.
And they fucking survived. And some of these guys even wipe out on these huge ass waves, like out in Portugal or Spain, wherever those big waves are.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? And I feel like death on a 5-foot wave. It's fucking scary. It
is fucking terrifying, especially like a lot of the Southern California, especially like the Wedge. We talk about the Wedge, but
the wedges. Yeah,
like, the Wedge is super unique. Is that there's a man-made jetty there, so when the waves come in, they come in once and they hit that jetty and then bounce diagonally off. So sometimes you get like an immediate double set of waves. And then so if you wipe out on one, as soon as you come up for air, there's another one right on top of you. But then sometimes you get that second wave combining with the first wave, and it creates this massive wave, but then it like pulls all of the water out from underneath you, so you can see dirt. You see dirt.
Yeah, I know.
And so if you are not careful, like you are fucked. And I mean, the wedge
You're
has
going
been
straight into.
a big like boogie board spot because there's not a whole lot of room for surfing. So it's more of like a boogie boarding thing. But people that surf the wedge are just fucking insane. Like that's just crazy. Those waves are always big. They're always aggressive, and you are fucked if you wipe out.
Well, because you get taken over. You get taken over by the curl. You get fucking essentially face planted into the dirt. Because like you said, it's maybe 2 feet of water and then it's sand and rocks. It's fucking nuts, man. It's scary going out there. I mean, we used to go out there as kids. Like my parents would take us out to the wedge just to like watch, and then they would like let us go like in the shallow parts. But even like that, it's scary when you're 10 years old, and I don't know, man. Fucking scary shit. But
yeah, it's terrifying.
I'd love the beach though. I don't go. I want to go more, but I never do. I live 20 minutes away, 25 minutes away, and I never go.
Well, you live 20 minutes if there was no traffic or anything.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point.
Realistically, you live 45 minutes from the beach.
Yeah, that's true.
And coming home on the 55 right there? No, come on.
Oh, yeah, right there.
Any time of
the
day.
405 and the 55?
Doesn't matter. Any time of day.
55.
Any time of day.
You're right. It's
Stupid.
a nightmare. It's a fucking nightmare.
Silly boy talk. Yeah. I don't know. This documentary is set up as not just like a surf doc, like I said. There's a lot of wanderlust. There's a lot of what makes people like Anthony Bourdain and watch and make people watch like the Travel Network is because they want to get out there. But what's so like unique about this is you're watching like 2 kids do it on like bare minimum equipment on bare minimum dollars. They have like no money really. And you watch them just all smiles the whole time. And like they're having a great time, which they didn't have a great time the whole time. There's a lot of fighting between them all. And I guess one of the guys, Mike Hinson, didn't really like everybody else, Bruce Brown or Robert August. And he only went because of the draft, the Vietnam War draft.
Yeah, he was an afterthought. They wanted like 5 other surfers to go, but none of them could go. And then they were like, "Well, Mike lives like in the upstairs like loft above my garage.
Yeah,
I guess we could invite him." And then after the movie, like after this movie came out, he got. I mean, there's a whole nother story after the movie in his life. Pretty fucking wild.
Yeah, his life for sure has been wild. They're just trying to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
just trying to like
stuff.
The drug stuff, trying to get money from this movie, and kind of being hosed, but also taking a deal he shouldn't have taken, and just a long life of being not famous. But I mean, like I get it, like the surfing, like that's seemingly the hardest part of this documentary. But like Bruce Brown, like come on, narrates it. Sets up the music. Like it wasn't for Bruce Brown, like there would be like the Sandals wouldn't have had a big break like this.
Yeah,
because he knew exactly what he wanted. He asked them, and listening to like the Sandals music without listening or watching the movie, it's not. Besides the Endless Summer theme song, it's not great. It's not like the greatest thing ever. It's simple. It's a basic surf rock, but knowing where it came from, knowing that it's in the movie, knowing what parts you can hear different songs on. It makes the soundtrack better. But if you've never seen the movie and you listen to the Sandals album, which was original time Scrambler, and then Endless Summer, it's not great. It's not the greatest surf rock album ever, for sure.
And so, obviously, this episode, we're going to primarily be talking about the movie because really there's not a lot written about the Sandals, and the bit that there is, it's whatever. They made a few records here and there, and
they put out like one album. This is it.
Yeah, and they wanted to be like their like goal was to be the Ventures, which is cool. But the Ventures are, outside of Dick Dale, the Ventures are surf rock. I don't know, and not only that. Okay, you probably saw this. The original band name was called The Shadow, which is super fucking cool. And then they changed the name to the Sandels.
Yeah.
Like, what? And then they changed it for this movie to the Sandals. Like how do you go from the Shadow to the Sandals? That's so fucking lame.
I mean, the Shadow is 100% not surf rock. You call yourself.
But it's such a cool name.
Yeah, of course. But it's not like a marketable surf rock thing. And And we're already at the point where the Beach Boys, like 1964, the Beach Boys have already been around for a couple of years and have now dominated the surf rock scene. And then surf rock in general is going to die in another year and a half anyway. And so the Sandals is like the best name you can, besides just, I don't know, the beach, the waves, like, you know, these stupid fucking names. Like the Sandals is a good surf rock band name for a band that's probably not going to exist in another 2 years.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But damn, the Shadows still so cool. Still so cool.
The Shadows is a cool name for a band.
All right. Honestly, let's get back to the movie because, like you said, the songs are they're good. They're just good. But yeah, you got to watch it with the movie. You got to hear the music with the movie. So, I guess. Well, let's talk about Bruce Brown a little bit. I mean, he's the guy who this is his entire movie. He directed it, produced it, wrote it, narrated it, shot it. I mean, when they did this whole tour of the world, essentially, it was just the three of them: Bruce, Mike, and Robert. And I don't know how true it is. I didn't really see like a ton of sources on it, but apparently they were going to go from the United States, from like California down to South Africa and back. And apparently the plane ticket to do that, it was cheaper. It was actually only $50 more to travel the entire world than to just travel from California to South Africa and back. So that's why they decided to hit a bunch of different spots, you know, and at like 3 or 4 different spots in Africa, a couple spots in Australia, Hawaii, and California.
You think that it's about like the Endless Summer, essentially chasing summer all over the globe. So therefore you could ride waves in warm waters all over the globe 365 days a year. But like, don't forget, like you could just go to Hawaii and do that essentially for most of the time. And so, they went down to South Africa, or they're probably like the Cape Town, and their travel agent said, yeah, you could like either fly straight home, or for $50 more, you can go here. And they were like, oh, fuck yeah, let's do it. Because when they go to Australia, the water's cold as fuck. It's not summer over there. It was their winter. And so they're not chasing like an endless summer. It's just, you know, just more lore into the documentary aspect of everything, which isn't entirely accurate or true, but you know.
But then they go to Senegal and Nigeria, and the water is so warm. There was a part, I mean, I don't know how true it is, but you know, it was like 90% humidity. The air outside was like 110, and the water temperature was 92 degrees. And it was literally the only part in the entire movie or documentary that Bruce Brown actually shoots film inside the water. And he even says in the narration that like it was so hot that I had to get in with the guys, and there's literally shots of them surfing like right next to the camera. Yeah, and he never did that.
That was Nigeria, and that was when Nigeria, they flew there on some like old like decommissioned World War II plane, and that was a scene where they're like, yeah, we were super scared, and he added like the sound of like World War II fighter planes like going down.
Then he
just like flipped the camera on the side. Yeah, like that's so cool. That's so cute. That's so funny. But that's when he makes that crack about like how it felt drier underwater than it did above water.
Yeah, that's I like that.
That's funny. Like these little really dad jokes that he throws in there all the time, and you know, at early age, 20s, throwing these little dad jokes in, and like that's what makes this movie so funny and so cute. Really, just so cute.
And just it was the way he said things too, like his presentation of it all too. Is like it was drier underwater than it was above water. It just it was like it was sarcastic, but not dry sarcastic, I guess you could say. It's good. That's how a lot of the lines are in this movie.
Yep.
But and then of course there's like all the discrepancies. I think there was when they were in Australia, I don't remember what city, and they were talking about do you go some days on this road where 3 days pass and nobody goes down this road, and they're like hitchhiking down the road, you know? Yeah. And then the car that's picking them up, if you look in the distance, there's a car driving away. Yeah. And it's just like, dude, come on. You could do better than that.
Yeah, I mean, like, like for sure. This is a guy that knows what he wants to do, but just doesn't have the budget to do it properly. And this makes you think like, dude, like this guy did this entire movie with 50 grand. And this is truly amazing. This is a movie. I don't want to call it a doc, but because it's like a
True.
movie. It's a movie. It's not true like a documentary should be, or completely accurate. It's a movie, but like he did it on 50 grand. And we think of like the biggest movies of all time, and like Titanic. Like what was the budget for Titanic compared to this? And this,
Yeah.
like this like really affects people. And one of these guys, I think it's Henson. He still works in like Westminster, California, as like a surfboard builder, shaper,
Yeah.
or something. And
Both
he,
of them do, I think.
He said like
Robert
people
and
still
Mike.
to this day will come into his shop and tell him like about how like this movie, this documentary changed their life, and they've never even been in the ocean, they've never been surfing. They're just something about this. And again, I think it's just because of wanting to get out there and see like what the earth has to offer. And the ocean is just, I mean, it's always been calming and interesting and fun, but like a good and humbling reminder that you're fucking insignificant.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Especially when you go to like I mean, it's one thing to go to like you and I we were in, when we went to France, when we went to Nice,
Yeah.
like seeing the ocean there was cool, but I mean, it was very different than what we were used to in California, in Southern California, where, you know, in California, in Southern California, you have these huge waves. It's like, it's wild. And it's such a different experience than seeing the ocean in Europe. I feel
Yeah.
like it's such a, I don't know. I can't even explain it.
I mean, that
It's
was
weird.
That was for sure like vastly different. I don't know. I've been to several beaches, at least in the U.S., but
Yeah. Same here.
it's just nothing looks like it did in this movie, and that's partly because of this movie, and then just because people migrate towards the beach and fucking trash it, and over the course of 50 years, this is what happens. You get to Huntington Beach, and it's fucking disgusting.
Well, yeah, Huntington Beach sucks, but if
It is
you go a
fucking
little
disgusting.
bit further south, I mean Newport, Dana Point, Laguna Beach, dude, there's some nice beaches down farther south OC.
Yeah, then
But yeah, Huntington Beach is trash.
I mean, rightfully kind of so. The locals there are very territorial, and
Yeah.
and they don't like people down there. I mean, I used to serve with Aaron Dillon fairly often,
Mm-hmm.
and going up to like the Hermosa area, and then going all the way down to like San Clemente and stuff. Like there was,
That's a long track.
I mean, not in one
that's
day. But-
yeah, I know, but I mean, just like the distance that's like an hour and a half trek. Like
Oh,
anybody listening who doesn't know the area, if you were to go from Hermosa down to San Clemente, which I don't know, that's L.A. County to Orange County. That's like an hour and a half, hour 45 drive.
Yeah,
especially
for
if you're going
sure.
down PCH.
yeah. But again,
Yeah.
it wasn't like one day. It was one weekend. We went to one weekend, went to the other one. But it's I don't know. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of bad with surfing, and like I've never been really really good. I've always ridden a big board, at least like 7 foot, 7'5" or more. I just never
Yeah.
been good on a short board. Aaron Dillon's really good at surfing, but
Was he?
he's pretty good. 'Cause he rode like a little 6-footer, like a little fucking tiny board.
Wait, I think I did. Yeah, I did go surfing with them once, but I was always bad.
I could only stand up on a board that's like I said. I used to have a Rockin' Fig 7.6 fun board, which is like a fat one. It's thicker. It's got 3 fins. Doesn't go very fast, but like it's easy to stand up on. And
Yeah.
that's all I needed. That was fine. I just enjoyed being out there. I enjoyed hanging out, sitting on my board, talking. And,
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
So I don't know. It's fun. Like this movie just evokes this sort of need to get out and see the globe, which I think at some point it should be just like a rite of passage for people to go out and see just what's beyond this I don't know, your bubble, right? Like going to
Yeah,
Europe
yeah.
for us was that huge like turning point to where we were just like, holy fuck, man, I cannot even believe we're even doing this. We don't know any of these languages. We don't have any money. We don't know where we're going. We have nowhere to stay. Like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, it was wild. It was
fuck it,
fucking,
let's
it was
just do
it was
it. Who
eye opening.
cares?
It was definitely eye opening. But
And-
in all
and-
the like all good ways.
yeah. And like there were
But-
times where we were running out of places. Like there was like,
Yeah.
where are we gonna stay tonight? well, everything's booked up. I don't know where we're gonna stay, and like it's like 7 o'clock at night. We still don't have a place to stay for the night.
Yeah. I mean, we made a lot of mistakes on that trip. Absolutely. But we always like made it through. I mean, we were never in like there were a couple dangerous moments or like very frustrating moments, but
Frustrating for sure. I never felt like we were in any danger.
there was that time in Naples. Oh, was it Naples? When those people were like surrounding us. Remember that shit? We're in the train station.
Really?
Yeah, you remember that? We were waiting for another train somewhere else, and we were stuck there for like 4 hours at the train station, and this like group of people started like surrounding us.
I feel like I would
Probably
notice just fucking somebody surrounding me.
Like 8 or 10. There was like 8 or 10 people, and they kept getting like creeping closer and closer to us, and we're like, yeah, this feels kind of weird. And they had like a big dog. You don't remember that?
No.
Or like let's bound. Like, it was right. We were like right next to a McDonald's at the train station, and
I
we're
remember-
like, oh, this feels really sketchy. So we just like we bailed, and we took off.
I remember going to
Or whatever.
McDonald's at some point. Maybe it was Naples or maybe it was Venice. I think maybe you're right. Maybe it was Naples.
Yeah, I don't remember, but Italy sucks. Italy's like the
Yeah,
worst
that
country.
was such my least. That
Fucking
was
Europe,
such
dude.
my least favorite country I've ever been to in my life.
Italy was terrible.
Just did not have a good time in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, worse than Paris. And I fucking hated Paris. So
I like Paris.
Um,
It's fun.
anyway, back to Endless Summer.
Back to
let's,
Endless Summer. Yeah, dude. Let's want to talk about spots. What do you want to do?
Well, let's play a song and then we'll get
Oh,
into some other stuff. Because why not? Why the fuck not? What's another song you want to play?
I would probably do Scrambler. I mean, I feel like that's like so like Scrambler. The name of the song was the name of the original album as it was
Yeah.
coming out, and then it transitioned to the soundtrack for the Endless Summer. So it was the Endless Summer soundtrack. But like this band released like 7 inches, and much like I'm continuing to find out, a lot of surf rock bands just capitalized on the boom of surf music and just released 7 inches. They didn't have enough time to write an album, and so they just threw out a bunch of 7 inches, made a little bit of money, and then went about their day. And that's kind of what like the Sandals did. They had some 7 inches before, and then some 7 inches after, but they never did like an album. And this isn't like an album. This is just an album. This is like a soundtrack. So they never even had like an actual album. This is a fucking soundtrack band at best.
True. Very, very true. All right, so let's. I'm going to play a little bit of a Scrambler right now, the opener, and then we'll go from there. So here we go from the Sandals. There it is, Scrambler from the Sandals, from the Endless Summer soundtrack. I hate the motorcycles. I hate the motorcycles on this song.
So
And the other songs too.
so like surf music eventually became the Beach Boys vocal stuff, Jan and Dean, and then it also kind of became like hot rod music. And this is a perfect example of why, like first of all, how short surf rock was even. It was literally only like 3 or 4 years. And this is a good example of how on the outs the Sandals were. Because I think it's a hot rod. I think it's supposed to mimic a hot rod.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. You're
Because
probably
even like Dick Dale used to complain about how fucking dumb, or like how fake and disingenuous the hot rod rock was, because it was very similar to surf rock, but instead of talking about waves and stuff, he talked about like carburetors and other car stuff that I don't know about. But like this is a good example of it. Like the Sandals are already on their way out. Like if it like the Endless Summer made the Sandals legendary. Had it not been for that, the Sandals would be nobodies.
No, that's
but-
very.
But I
good
do
point.
like this song. I like a couple of things. I like those quick like I like those things.
Oh yeah, I did too. Yeah.
And the ride, how crisp that ride is just it's fucking amazing. I love it, and I can hear such a good sound in that ride cymbal, and it sounds awesome.
There's only a few moments on this record, on the soundtrack, where there's a good rhythm guitar and a really good guitar lead. Like otherwise, it's just like a typical surf thing where it's just one lead guitar and that's pretty much it. But this is one of those examples where it's good rhythm and lead. So I dig that a lot. And you're right. And this is also another one of the songs where it's not the only one that has that really crisp like bell sound, the bell on the ride cymbal right there, because it's fucking loud. It's really loud, but it's good. I dig it.
It's so crisp. Yeah, dude, the
know.
Beach Boys are like one of the best things and one of the worst things to ever happen to like surf music. I mean, surf music, there's no way it could last that long anyway. It's it's just not varied enough. Like Dick Dale was the only person who could bring in multiple cultures really into surf music and make it sound cool and make it sound fun. The Beach Boys inevitably kind of like, I guess, made surf music like live on forever, but they also like ruined it with their harmonies and stuff, and that was annoying.
I feel like also with the problem with surf music is that it's not varied. It's too positive. It's too happy. There's nothing more there, because even when you get like into jazz or rock and roll, like there's always like, or blues especially, like it's a varied style. But surf, it's just one thing. That's it. It's having a good time with your girl. Nothing more, nothing less.
Well, I'm definitely leaning in the camp now of like a surf rock purist, where I think for it to be surf rock, it has to be instrumental. It has to be instrumental. Just because you can talk about surfing in the USA, Beach Boys, Brian Wilson, doesn't mean that you're surf rock. And if it wasn't for Dennis Wilson, they wouldn't even be like a surf band, because I mean Dennis Wilson was the coolest Beach Boy because he surfed and fucking was a badass. But it was, I don't know, the Beach Boys, I love the Beach Boys. I love them a lot. I think they're fucking amazing. But like surf music-wise, I mean, they're not
a surf band.
It's Dick Dale.
Yeah, 100%. Dick Dale is the king of surf rock.
King of surf, baby.
Like, hands down. You cannot beat him. And I wouldn't even consider the Beach Boys surf rock. They're a pop band. They're that's it. They talk about surfing, but they're not a surf rock band. They don't have that sound, that style. Even like when they try, it wasn't the same. Jan and Dean did it better than the Ventures did it better. Well,
Jan and Dean did not do better than Beach Boys.
Surf rock wise, yeah, not pop wise, but surf rock wise, yeah, they did.
No, Jan and Dean were for sure a 100% a vocal band. They didn't play anything.
But they still.
No, that was even after the Beach Boys anyway. The Beach Boys, the first couple albums by the Beach Boys are surf rock, because even though they have those harms, it's surf music underneath. It is surf music underneath through and through. But then they come out with songs like 409, and yeah, like She Shall Find My 409. I get it. Like that was from their first album, and that was still kind of like ushering in the hot rod music stemming from surf music, and that was like 62 or 63. So I don't know. I think the Beach Boys are surf music, like in their roots, but I think they fell so fast from that and just became a pop band, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with a pop band sometimes.
No.
But what the Beach Boys did for music in general, just over and over and over and over, is just unmatched. Unmatched, baby boy.
Yeah, they did a lot. I'm not really into them, but they did a lot.
But like the Ventures have been around since the 50s. And so they talk about like I don't know, longevity in surf rock. Like Ventures have been doing that shit since like 57, 58.
But also, their biggest hit wasn't even theirs. It was Johnny Smith.
Johnny Smith wasn't surf rock though.
I know, but he wrote Walk Don't Run.
Okay, well, if you take Miles Davis' Kind of Blue and make it surf rock, I mean, it's still a surf rock song.
That's a terrible example. That's a fucking terrible example.
How's that a terrible example?
You're taking like a iconic jazz record.
Has nothing to do with the original version. Bringing up the original version has nothing to do with the surf rock version. It has nothing to do with it. Plus, like that, the Ventures' first album didn't come out until 1960, 1961. They were around 2-3 years before that, like just recording like demos and 7 inches. And so like it took them like 2 or 3 years. That's why most people think that surf rock is from like the early 60s. But like a lot of these guys were playing surf music in the late 50s.
Yeah, that's true. Because of the 7-inch thing. But I mean, that was kind of music in general. It wasn't just surf rock. It was rock and roll. It was anything popular. It was done in 7 inches and even EPs before a full length record. Sure. That's why you have somebody like Django Reinhardt. I mean, I don't think he ever put out like a full length record. It was all singles, and then over the decades they've just compiled the singles into albums or compilations.
Yeah, it's because there's no melodies there, and no one's gonna buy a fucking.
But also,
no one's gonna buy an album full of just stuff that's not jazz, but it sounds like jazz kind of, up until maybe like 1998. Nobody cares about that.
But you know what I mean.
But like surf music kind of heralded in I don't know, like vultures, really. Because by the time surf music was on its way out in 64, 65, people were still trying to capitalize on it and just releasing a bunch of 6 or 7 inches. And I bought like an album once. It's called Digging Out. And it's just like a bunch of late, like mid 60s, like 65, even like pushing into 66 of a bunch of bands who I like researched every single one. And all they did was release 7 inches in that span of when surf rock was like everybody knew it was done. And it's like, okay, here we go again. All the vultures just come out.
That's
fucking
anything
gross.
though. It's pop music. Anything that gains any sort of popularity. That's what. Look at Exotica music. It was the same thing, except Exotica music they would make fucking full length records rather than 7 inches. But
And like nobody cared about exotic music ever
well,
in the history of
that's
mankind.
very wrong.
It's
I mean, the 3 big ones they're
Compared to-
still wildly pop. Why do you
compared
think
to like
I
surf
mean,
rock is just never, pennies
But
to
also,
the dollar
when you think
here.
about it, no, okay. Well, look at it this way: they're still repressing Martin Denny records. Like a brand new pressing of Quiet Village just came out a few weeks ago.
They're repressing everything. We're in a weird period now where plants are backed up years in advance because they're repressing literally anything.
Literally,
Anything.
but you know what I mean. The Exotica is still kind of out there. I would say more so than a lot of surf rock.
No,
Even
it's
Dick
just
Dale.
silly.
Even Dick
No.
Dale. Come on.
You're just being silly now. I
But,
respect
okay,
it.
but-
It's cute what you're doing, but you're just being silly.
I really can't tell you. I haven't seen any modern I haven't seen any represses, sealed represses of Dick Dale ever in the wild. I've seen Martin Denny, but not Dick Dale.
Maybe if you just, but like the genre, Exotica versus surf rock. Come on, come on.
This is a tough
Regionality
argument.
aside, what are you fucking stupid? Like you fall down, hit your head again? What are you talking about? You think Exotic music is more popular than surf rock? Like just by listens, by
Well-
just like if you're a betting man, if you were talking to whatever god anybody believes in, you said, hey, I know you have all the answers. What is the number? What is the tally for the amount of listens for Exotica music versus the amount of listens for surf music in general, both of them over time? Because he has all the answers, or she has all the answers. You would put money that
Non-binary,
Exotica has
or
more listens.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Come on.
Only because
Don't
the
be
big
silly.
Dick Dale hits, the Venture stuff.
And surf
Even
rock
taking-
blew up again in the 90s. Like surf rock had a resurgence because
So
of Dick
did,
Dale.
I'm not Exotica, but lounge music did too in the 90s.
You have to have a surgeons to have a resurgence.
You're the worst. Fucking you talking about surges? Fucking look at Martin Denny. He put out 42 records in like 10 years.
They're all fucking gold. They all sold millions and changed the world for the better. Sure.
They sold a lot.
What's that Martin
Sold
Denny
a lot.
movie with Exotica that makes people feel really good? That was a documentary.
You're so dumb.
What was it called?
I
don't remember either.
I'm trying to think of something, but I got nothing.
Keep thinking, baby boy.
And Endless Summer. Let's get back to this. Let's get back to this. Fuck it. Let's get back to the movie. I don't give a fuck. It's so good. Should we talk? What? Oh, you mentioned something before we started recording that I didn't notice. Do you know
What's
what I'm
that?
talking about?
No.
You said somebody was in blackface.
Oh yeah, yeah. So like,
What was? I've never noticed it.
so there's only one. There was only one time where I really realized, like, damn, these guys are like, they're not like douchey, but this is definitely a different time,
Yeah.
and it's when the little kids over in I think it was Ghana. Fucking.
Oh, when they're
Ghana,
all on the
always
beach.
always beating us in soccer, the U.S. Yeah, but they were in Ghana and they were talking about what the fuck he said. There's little kids throwing rocks into the ocean as they were surfing, just like fucking.
Yeah. I remember that part.
As a little kid, I threw rocks everywhere. I don't know why kids do it. It's just
Dude, I fucking still throw rocks.
why do we throw rocks? I don't know.
I'm 35 years old. I will still throw a rock into water. I don't give a fuck.
I know.
Looks
I don't know
cool.
why. It does look cool. You want to see how far you can throw it. You want to see if it
Yeah.
curves. You want to see if you can skip. There's so many reasons to throw rocks.
You want to see how much of a splash there is? You want to see if you can hear it? It's fucking. Who doesn't want to throw a rock into water?
But he
weird.
sees, or Bruce is filming the African kids, and he comments something. I think it's this specifically, but something like being good Africans, they throw rocks, or like being good African kids, they throw rocks.
Yeah.
Kind of-
I remember that.
I think he meant it more so just I don't know, as a dumb joke of why kids are fucking throwing rocks, but it definitely came off as like casual racism, subtle
Yeah,
racism.
It was.
I don't think it was the intention was anything like that. I think they were just dumb kids saying it's something stupid that sounds a lot worse now than it did back then. But then there was another part where there was a shot of one of it was when they were going through, I think
the
it was
jungle part.
yeah, when they're going through the jungle,
Yeah.
which was filmed in like Dana Point or somewhere like local. It was filmed out here. It wasn't filmed in like Australia or wherever they said it was. And there's a shot of this tiki man like jumping out, and it spooks him. And it's got like sharp teeth and is all face painted. You remember that part?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was
And
one of
then-
their friends.
Was it really?
Yeah,
No, that's the blackface.
yeah,
No shit.
yeah. Like two different articles I read. One from LA Times and one from the Orange County Register. Both said that was one of their friends. In
Holy
blackface.
shit! I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
But again, like this is not like let's take a step back. Let's readjust, reimagine, revisit what is happening at the time, and they are in a different land, and they've never been exposed to this, much as like the people at the land have never been exposed to us. And there's multiple times where they say like and he admits like I've never seen this type of person. I've never seen like this type of civilization, just as much as they've never seen someone like me. And they learn a lot from all of these people that they're visiting. They help a lot of people learn how to surf. They're patient with everybody. They go out there and, they're semi-respectful, being early 20s, I guess, as respectful as people in their early 20s can possibly be. And so this scene is just a poor attempt at being funny, I guess.
Yeah,
It's not funny now,
idea.
but
No. I mean, even before knowing this right now, supposedly their friend having blackface on, like even then it wasn't a funny bit. It was stupid. It was very like 1920s, 1930s.
Yeah, it was stupid.
They sped up like the
Dad,
film. Yeah, it was stupid. But that's crazy, dude. I did not know that.
And then like the whole fact that like the biggest thing people are super upset about is like they're in South Africa, and there's some big political shit going on in South Africa in the 60s from the 50s to like the early 90s, the apartheid like that's going on, and they never mention it. But like they don't need to mention it.
That's not I could be completely mistaken because obviously you and I did not grow up in the 60s, 70s, and most of the 80s. We don't know how much people were talking about apartheid back in the 60s.
That is true.
It could have been something that honestly they probably didn't even know what was going on, especially that early on. Because when did that start? In the late 50s, if I'm not mistaken. Up until 91, 92? It was like
early 50s until early 90s. So it for sure was like right in the middle of it. And there had to have been signs everywhere, like separating, whites from non-whites. There had to have been signs and things of separating races from some of the beaches they went to. So they definitely seen it. They definitely saw it.
And when you think about it too, like when they're in South Africa, they're always with white people. You notice that?
Yeah.
Like all the surfers they make, or like what's the scene like? Oh yeah, we came here to go to beaches that have never been seen, or we like to surf with like one or two people, but 40 other people show up.
Yeah.
And they're like all rolling up in their VW bugs.
And it's true. They're always like
they're all white. Yeah. Yeah.
It's either they went to a beach and it was all like African American, or it was just all white.
Yeah, but the one where it was all African people, it was when they were in Ghana, Nigeria, and Senegal. It was never when they were in South Africa. I never realized that till right now. Yeah.
And that's I don't know, that's what it, and don't forget these are like kids, bro. They're fucking kids. They're idiots. Like again, the guy went on this so he could in hopes to like avoid the draft. And like this was a thing that he wanted to do because like nobody wanted to go to Vietnam, and like nobody wanted to do that shit. Nobody wanted to go to war. Nobody wanted to do anything, and these kids for sure didn't want anything to do with like the apartheid or any kind of and then like JFK was assassinated like while they were gone, And you
Yeah.
know they heard about it. Like, you know,
And
it was all over the radio when they heard about it.
And on top of that, it was the infancy of the civil rights movement. You know, this is like the very, very early stages of the civil rights movement here in the United States. So the way that, you know, as young as they were and naive as they were, even if they saw fucked up shit in South Africa, they're not going to really kind of, you know, think twice about it because there's still a lot of fucked up things going on here in the States. So why would they bring it up on top of it having nothing to do with the movie that they're making?
Right. And that's the biggest takeaways. It's not like what they're saying, what we're saying, what others are saying is that these don't mean anything. It's just that that's not what they set out to do.
Yeah.
And they could have incorporated it. Yes, maybe, possibly. I don't know. They didn't. So I can't say for sure, but they're making a surf doc and they're doing it because they're a bunch of kids just wanting to experience their life at that moment. And they're doing it the best way they possibly can, being stupid kids.
Yeah, and on top of that, when you think about it too, where they travel to, the countries that they travel to in Africa were probably the only somewhat safe places to travel to at the time. Because a lot of Africa, even to this day, a lot of Africa it's rough. It's really fucking rough for everybody. Tourists, locals, everything. And for them to go to as many places as they did it back then is pretty wild to think about.
There was a part too that people said that I thought it was just a joke, but people attribute it to them acknowledging the apartheid but not wanting to get into it. Was when they were in South Africa, and they said that the sharks and the porpoises haven't learned to integrate quite yet. Because they said like, oh, you don't go in the water if you see sharks, but if you see dolphins, that's fine. Because if you see a lot of dolphins, chances are there's probably no sharks because there's no food because dolphins can eat the food before the sharks do.
Yeah,
because they're faster. And they're like, yeah, but the sharks and the dolphins haven't learned to integrate quite yet. Which I thought that was just a stupid throwaway joke.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any subcontext to that whatsoever. These are, again, stupid kids out there riding waves, probably trying to score pot in South Africa, and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right,
And like
so let's play. What?
And then the last problematic thing, I guess, was people were just mad that these guys are essentially using the world's beaches as their personal playground. And I thought that was like the most egregious like
That's
complaint.
insanity.
Like, really, dude? Like, that's your fucking complaint? That's exactly what the beach is for.
I know, right? That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So other than that, whatever.
All right, so let's play another song. Let's play. What do I want to play? What should we play? What do you want to play?
Some of the last ones were pretty cool. Like Trailing was good. Wild as the Sea. I thought that was pretty good.
All right, let's play Wild as the Sea. That's actually my 2B because I did give all these a B on this. So here is Wild as the Sea from the Sandals. There you go. Wild as the Sea from the Sandals from Endless Summer.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a great one. And
that's one of the few ones that fades to a wave. Like at the very end, as it fades out, it goes back into the wave, and so it's just like going back out into the sea. Slowly.
So cool. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
This is also another song. The reason why this is so high for me on my banger list is because it has the melodica, just like the theme song. The theme song has the melodica that kind of like almost battles with the guitar. Dude, I love that instrument. It gets me every time.
It's good usage because a lot of like early surf music use a saxophone in the same way, but the saxophone is obviously, it sounds like a fucking saxophone. You throw the melodica in there, it's mimicking a saxophone, it's doing what the saxophone would do, but it's so weird, it's so quirky that you can't help but love it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great.
I fucking love it.
God,
The melodica, the melodica is almost as addicting to me as the vibraphone is, or the xylophone. Like when I hear it, I just think, dude, this is like the best. This is the best thing. This is the best thing on that record, just because of that one instrument. I'm instantly hooked by it. Oh boy, it's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's a good song. This is one where they're ringing out the chords, kind of in just a classic surf rock way. The rhythms like just ringing out chords, and then the lead is just hitting those notes. But this one's got a lot of like minor chords. They're ringing out like a lot of minor chords. So, a lot of surf rock is kind of deemed as poppy. And like I think you mentioned something earlier about it just being very happy, very upbeat.
Yeah.
This one's kind of a little downtrodden, a little melancholy.
Yeah, it's probably one of the slowest songs on the entire record,
Yeah.
which is it's a nice change because a lot of it is just kind of like it's either faster, kind of Motown sounding, but then you kind of get these like slower grooves, and it's a nice mix up of it all.
We can do trivia. I got like more stuff on the surf spots, some of my favorite surf spots.
Well, okay, so
Like surfing history in general. What do you want to do?
the one thing I really want to touch upon is Mike Hinson. We could do it. We could talk about the let's talk about the surf spots first, and then we'll talk about Mike Hinson because his story was pretty interesting, pretty wild, pretty wild
Yeah.
after the movie. So yeah, what do you got about the surf spots?
So like the coolest ones were like Ghana, like the Ghana, Nigeria. Those were cool because they made it seem like these people had never seen what like surfing surfing was. And then it was kind of fun to see them trying to teach the little kids how to surf.
Oh, that was cool. Yeah.
And then it was interesting to watch them kind of also stick around to help because I mean, for whatever it's worth, Bruce said that they helped with the fishing. They put that big net out there, and it took them like an hour to put the net out there, and they just caught like thousands of fish.
Yeah.
But like Bruce had said, he had helped, or one of them had helped like put the net out there and actually like did work and stuff. And then it was kind of cool to see how they observed how the people divided the catch based on just like the amount of work contributed or just how big they were in general. Because he mentions at one point, like, oh yeah, they divide the fish based on like whose net it is or whose boat it was, how much work you contributed, or just how big you are. And then
or how loud you could yell or something like that.
Yeah,
too.
and then you see like this fucking like this like ripped guy just like taking a bunch of fish, and like, God damn, that guy's really jacked. And like a lot of these like guys are like really ripped and fucking like jacked up, and I was like, wow, dude. Hitting the gym or something. I don't know.
And then there's the part where they're teaching the kids how to surf, and then they say something like, "Here comes the heavies," and then
the heavies,
the heavies, these big fucking guys come in. And they just like take the surfboards and just go into the ocean. It's like, you don't want to mess with them.
They don't even take the surfboard. Like the little kids fight over it, and even take it from like Mike and Robert.
Yeah.
But like when the heavies come to take it from the little kids just scatter. And
Yeah,
the surfboard is left there to float on its own. So but he comes at him so aggressively, like he troshes through the water like as fast as he can, and they pick the surfing up quick.
I know. I was shocked by that when they were on Mike and Robert's surfboards. I mean, the movie made it seem like it was within like two or three rides, but even still, like if it was longer than that, that's quick.
Which makes me think that they surf there in some capacity. I mean, surfing's been around for thousands since like the 5th century of humans.
But also, there was the part too in that entire scene where they're like, after they put the nets out in the water and they're like surfing the boats back onto shore. Yeah. I mean, it's the same idea.
Right. They know how to catch the wave because they use the wave to come back in. So it's just rather than sitting down rowing, you're just standing up.
Yeah.
But that was cool. I like that. I was just watching them like teach like the kids in Ghana how to surf, and I was thinking like, dude, what a fucking dope life, man. What a cool experience. For the way we see it on TV, on television, is just they're in a foreign land. They don't speak any language, but the common denominator is fun. And now they're teaching other kids how to have fun the way we have fun. We being like Mike and Robert. And I just thought like that was so cool. That's just a cool middle ground. That's like going to a bar. Like we went to a lot of bars in Interlaken. We were drinking beer with people that we did not speak the same language, but we're watching soccer and drinking beer, and that's all that fucking mattered.
Germany as well,
Yeah. Oh my God, we spent so many hours in that bar in Germany.
Didn't pay for a thing.
The only time in my life I've ever skipped out on a tab.
That was an accident, though. It wasn't like we intentionally did it. We all thought we had paid, but we hadn't.
We intentionally
was.
did not pay for the next day,
That's true. Yeah, we still stayed in the same hotel, but we didn't go back to that bar.
and
Because we didn't-
we avoided and put our heads down in shame, and yeah.
Yeah, I know. It was
Yeah,
bad.
what a dope life, man. What a cool concept. What a cool experience of just going to different places, surfing, doing what you love, and sharing it with people that may or may not know anything about what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's
Awesome.
the part 2 where they go to Tahiti, and they go to one beach, and there's literally there's nothing there. So Mike is riding he's riding his surfboard on the back of a boat, just like hitting the little wakes on the from the boat, coming from the
Yeah.
boat. And then they apparently they drive down like the coast a little bit or around to the other side of the island, and there's some waves there. But
That was around the same. That was around the same time when he kept narrating, and it makes me laugh even when I think about it. Where he's talking about how you go to a spot where everybody says it's really good, and you get there and it's just a dud, but everybody says, "Oh, you should have been here yesterday."
I like that too.
It's so
That was good.
fucking annoying. Like it's probably the most annoying thing to hear. Like, "Oh, you should have been here yesterday." It's like Sloane's like getting into a car accident and saying, "Oh, you should have taken an Uber." Huh? It's like, motherfucker, I know, I get it. Okay, I missed it. Oh, it's so funny.
I like that line too. That was good.
And then like Cape Town, I thought that was interesting because where we're from in Orange County, you don't surf in groups. You just fucking don't. You paddle out in groups, but especially like Huntington Beach and Newport, it's so
it's
territorial. And if you get in front of somebody, even just like surfing with Dylan, it was pretty gnarly sometimes. Where there was arguments, and it's like, dude, like, can I just have one wave, please? Like, can I just try it one time without you fucking on my ass? And it's just it's a different mindset than SoCal. And it was cool to see that culture there in Cape Town, how they surf in groups and they encourage like wave sharing, and they don't mind cutting each other off because falling down was for them just as fun as like standing up. And like that was
There were
cool.
so many times, like almost every shot was somebody running into another person.
But they're
'Cause
always
there were so many
laughing.
people out
They're
there.
always laughing,
Yeah,
goofing
yeah. It
off,
wasn't
having a good
malicious.
time. And that was cool because it was crazy that like two oceans are converging in this like that little peninsula.
Oh
And-
yeah, that's right.
And the difference between the two oceans, which are only like a couple miles apart, like when you go from one beach to the other beach, is like over 20 degrees. That's crazy.
From the
like-
Atlantic to the Indian Ocean.
Yeah, and just like the way the currents are hitting, like the way the Indian Ocean kind of comes down south and hits like the Atlantic and then scoops backwards, and like all these are they called jet streams underwater? Like the ocean currents?
I think it's just currents, not the jet stream.
I learned it from Finding Nemo, but then I forgot. I thought like the underwater jet streams, I'm going to call them now. The underwater jet stream, I thought it was a fake thing. And then Finding Nemo, I was like, there's no way that's a real thing. There's no way there's fucking jet streams underwater that do this. And like, sure as shit. Like
It's crazy
real.
to think about. It's
I
fucking
still think it makes no sense, but that's fine.
nuts. Science.
Have
Have you ever swam in like? Have you ever been on the East Coast outside of New York? Have you ever been on the East Coast of the U.S.?
No, just New York.
Okay, because when I was in Florida once, we went swimming. We went swimming a lot in Florida, and the water temperature there compared to here in Orange County was insane. Like it was like bath water in Florida, like fucking bath water. It was insane.
That's terrible.
But you go to fucking Huntington Beach, even during like, at any time, it's always like 50 to 60 degrees. It's always fucking cold.
yeah, which
It's
like
just so weird.
not that cold, but
No, it's pretty fucking cold. Like come on, seriously, even during the summer, it never gets above like 75 or 65. Not even 70. I don't think.
yeah, but like I don't know. You have a little T-shirt on or like a wetsuit, just top, and you can still wear board shorts, and you're fine.
Well, yeah, but most of the time when you go to the beach, you don't wear that unless you're surfing.
Shit. That's all I ever
Anyway.
wore was just a wetsuit top.
Oh, when you went surfing?
Yeah, I never wore a full wetsuit, just a top.
Well, you don't need to. It's not that cold.
Yeah, it's not that cold. The most of the time during the day, I would have no top on. No top on.
Yeah.
Oh, and then there was that part too. It just reminded me. Fuck, what did he call them? Like the girls' top bathing suits. He called them like a chest protector or something, or like a.
Oh yeah.
fuck, he called him like it's something so stupid and so funny.
I think it was Chest Protector, wasn't it?
Maybe it was Chest Protector. God, I was just like, dude, you're such a child, and it made me laugh so hard. I giggled like a child. Damn it, I forgot what it was called. I don't know. What else you got?
That was good. It's a great fucking movie, honestly. All right. Are there any I kind of wonder like why they didn't go to certain countries, but then it made sense. Like I wonder why they didn't go to Asia. Well, I mean, Korean War had just ended, Vietnam had just started, so that's probably why.
Yeah.
And then why didn't they go to South America for anything? And then I realized, because it was a pretty fucked up time in the 1960s through a lot of South America. So
they did go to other places that was either just cut from the film or they just got out of there way too quickly to film. But they went to India.
mm-hmm.
They went surfing in India, and most of the film they sent back via like the mail. But there were some pieces of film that were just too good, like surfing the perfect wave. When they finally found their perfect wave, and like that stuff was just too precious, and so they flew it. They took it with them wherever they went. So when they're going out of India, I guess.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
The Indian government doesn't allow you to take like video out of there in fear of you have been filming like holy places, and so they like tape it to their bodies. They tape like the film reels to their bodies going through security, sitting on the plane to get like to smuggle their own film out of India. And I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, which leads into, I guess, Mike Hinson. And his life after the movie.
Smuggling other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and he claims the reason why he got the idea of smuggling drugs was because of the smuggling film out of India. And I honestly didn't know this until this week, but yeah, he smuggled drugs. He smuggled hash, and I think coke as well, but I know definitely hash in the surfboards. And he was a part of what was the cult? It was
it was something.
Brotherhood of Eternal Love. So this is like a hippie cult based out of Laguna Beach, which is fucking crazy when you really think about it, especially nowadays when Laguna Beach, every house there is worth $2 million.
The hippie mafia.
So it was that's what they were called, and their entire existence was to open up the third eye of everybody and essentially bring LSD or acid to everybody around the world and everybody, expand their minds. That was their whole intention. And Mike Hinson got a part of that, and he eventually convinced them that I know an easy way to smuggle drugs. This is how I would do it. And he told them about like taping it to the body. But then on top of that, then he really impressed them because he made surfboards at the time, and he still does. And he would actually cut pieces out of a surfboard, stuff the drugs in those empty pockets of the surfboard, and then, glaze it over. Or what's the term again that they used what's the term?
That's fine. I don't know.
But you know what I
like
mean.
That. Yeah.
And they essentially like make it a real surfboard, but hidden inside is a bunch of drugs, and that's how they would smuggle it everywhere, all over the fucking world. That's fucking nuts.
It's fucking, it's crazy. it's sad that like this movie made a lot of money. It made a lot of money. It made enough money for any of them to do what they wanted to do, at least be comfortable doing it. And I think Mike went to Bruce at some point, even though his lawyers like told him not to do it because he was trying to sue for money for millions, which he should have got millions.
Yeah.
And I think Bruce at one point was just like, yes, I will give you like X amount of dollars in cash. Plus I will give you up to, $1 million or whatever it was for you to start your own business and get on your feet. And Mike was like, I don't need cash. I got like, $70,000 to $100,000 in the trunk of my car right now because he's been doing drugs or dealing drugs. And so he turned down the offer and eventually got like nothing. But there's a movie too, like Rainbow Bridge was and I only know Rainbow. I've only heard of this because I had the soundtrack to it. I think you had it too, the Hendrix soundtrack.
Did I?
Yeah, I know you had it because I think I listened to it, didn't like it at all, and then gave it to you. And I'm sure you either have it still or don't. If you saw like the cover, I know you had it before. But like, yeah, it's just it's kind of about like all of this, like at least the 60s counterculture stuff, and Mike Hinson But that's a terrible soundtrack by Hendrix. So shame on him. Not that I really know anything about the soundtrack. I just remember the soundtrack being very bad, and I don't like it. So
I think even the movie was just apparently it was terrible. So it was. I mean, if I would have known about it sooner, I probably would have tried to watch it, but I just didn't have time to. But
based off of the Hendrix listen through, I know you've heard of I know you have the album.
I don't think I have.
Would you just look at it real quick? You just fucking Google it with your fingers. Put your fingers on your computer and just type in Rainbow Bridge Hendrix.
Rainbow Bridge.
And then click on images on Google, and then you're done. Like it's just not it's not like that hard. Just get it. You should already be done.
I'm doing it right now.
You'd be done.
You'll be dead.
You should be done.
No, I've never had this. No.
I know for a fact.
No, I have
That's
not.
fine though.
No, I've never even seen. No.
That's okay. That's all right.
Stupid.
It's fine. It's fine if you don't remember anything. That's okay.
Well, I haven't had that. But anyway.
You're getting older.
And so he got involved in all this stuff, and then eventually, by the time the 80s hit, Mike Hinson had fucking hit rock bottom, meth, cocaine. He was homeless, in and out of jail for almost 10 years. And yeah, he was fucked up, and I don't know. It's crazy, right? He could have had everything. But it just all ended.
It's weird too because after the movie was like done, and then after they edited it, but before it was like released nationwide, they hooked up with a bunch of their buddies, Bruce and then Mike Hinson, and then a lot of other guys jumped in a bus and then toured like the U.S. And they play like local high schools, and they play the movie for the local high schools, and then they would just get a record player and play live like surf rock records. And then Bruce would just narrate it live as you're watching it. And it killed. It fucking killed. Everybody loved it. It was just like amazing. And then like the movie comes out and it's doing really well. And there's a little bit of like backlash from the production company, which is why like the album art is also like a big part of contention, because Columbia or whoever produced it, I think it was Columbia, they didn't like the cover art. They thought it was stupid, and they changed it. And they were going to release it as a different cover art, which was still kind of cool. Like the mock-up that I saw, either they released it super small or in select theaters, or it was never released. But like Bruce had to fight hard to get that poster up, that iconic.
That poster
Endless
so
Summer.
rad.
I mean, it's like how could you not like that kind of like 2-tone color there? Like
I know.
Like, what are
Makes
you,
no
stupid?
sense.
Are you dumb?
It makes no sense. It's
dumb
so. Maybe it's just iconic now because it's been so long, but I don't know.
It does like everything you want a surf movie to do. It does everything. It tells you what the movie's going to be about, right? Just based off of what's happening in the picture. It's a surf movie, The Endless Summer. It's got a good like 2-tone thing with the pink and the red with the sun in the background. And so I don't know, like it's a perfect poster for a movie.
It
and
is.
If you can't see that, fucking whoever it was,
Stupid.
I don't know, but you're stupid. You dumb.
Oh boy. All right.
Also, I read that this place, it did really well in Kansas. Did you see that it did really well in Kansas?
Yeah, and they played it during the winter when it was snowing out.
Not only like was it the
was like a
winter, but
blizzard.
they had like one of the worst snowstorms like they've had like ever.
Yeah.
And for 2 weeks straight, it sold out every single night, even though, according to lore, the outside marquee was completely frosted over, completely iced over, so you couldn't even see what was playing in the theater. But every single night it sold out. And that was a way to show the production company, hey, fuck off. This is not a regional thing. Everybody will like this.
There you go. I read that too. I couldn't believe that.
Put them in their
honestly,
place.
I believe that. Out of all the lore that you hear from this, that's one of the things I believe it.
I believe it too, because this is just too damn good.
Yeah.
Because it's not just
really
about surfing. Like, people like this movie that don't surf.
Yeah. You don't. Yeah, exactly. It has the small bit of humor. It has even though you know it's not completely authentic, it has this amazing charm to it. And it's crazy too, because these guys aren't doing anything wild on the waves. They're riding these fucking longboards. They're not really doing anything nuts.
Yeah.
They're just having a good time. It's just like this it's just pure fun.
This
For
is
the most
well before Kelly Slater like tore up the surfing world.
Yeah, that's
and this
true.
is well before, people are surfing boards that are shorter than 8 feet long. This is a time of surfing where you're out there because you just want to hang out. You want to just chill.
Yeah, absolutely. I like to at the beginning of the movie, they're in Oahu, on Hawaii, and they're showing like all these other like or like famous surfers of the time. I mean, I've never heard of them outside of this movie, and they're just doing like these like goofy things. Like they're walking to the front of the board. They just look like they're having a blast. And then there's that one
goofing
part where
off.
the one guy, apparently like he's super good, and he's like, show us one of your moves. He's like walking down the beach with the board above his head, and he like does like that. He just like does that little jig, and he's like, "That a boy." It's like what? It's like the stupidest narration. I love it though.
You've heard of Corky Carroll, right? Like, have you heard of that guy?
No, I haven't.
He's like one of
I
the
have
first
not.
guys to really like get famous for surfing,
Okay.
to get paid for surfing, I guess.
Yeah, and I was kind of surprised to see out of the three people that were involved in this movie, Robert August, there was the least amount written about him. He was
Yeah.
the hardest to find any information because like Bruce Brown, he made other movies. Like he made Endless Summer 2 back in the early 90s, and he took a couple other surfers out and had them follow the same trek that these guys did. And he made a few other surf movies and things here and there throughout the years. But yeah, Robert August, there was nothing. There's not much. I mean, he has his own surf company where he makes boards and stuff, but outside of that, like nothing crazy.
I like too when they were surfing. I think it was Australia, and the girls were wearing like the 2-piece bikinis.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was Mike who said like, "Oh, Mike was getting real friendly with the locals," and then he just kept showing Mike just chasing that one girl like constantly throughout, like just trying to talk to her. But they eventually both leave in the car together, and then it shows Robert like just throwing sand and then into the sand, like picking up sand, like, "Oh shucks," like that was funny, like just constantly making fun of each other, and that was good.
Yeah, and the stupid little radio that Mike was always carrying around.
Oh, I love that thing.
It was pretty cool, but it's just like it was
God, it was so cool.
so of its time. I loved it.
I also read too that they were doing all of this, and the camera equipment that Bruce had all weighed like 20 pounds.
Yeah, that's
Just,
crazy,
like,
right? That's
that's
so
it.
light. That's
That's
so fucking light for what they were doing. But then it makes sense because they didn't have any sound equipment.
Yeah.
They only had
They had no money.
just the camera. That's it.
Couldn't
Yeah.
do it. And they used the
it's so
same
crazy.
surfboards the entire summer. Like the entire time they were doing this. Same surf. Didn't break nothing. Didn't destroy nothing. That's it. Same 2 surfboards.
Yeah. And then they were what is it when they land in I don't remember what African country. And they were apparently they were fighting with like the car service about where to put the surfboards.
Oh,
they were like,
yeah.
just put it on top of the car. We even brought the rope. And then they just put it in the trunk. And
In
it's
the
like that wouldn't
fucking
happen in
trunk.
the US.
But like
I mean, I
that's
don't know
stupid.
how fabricated.
It's just stupid because they're driving like a Volkswagen, like a Bug or something similar, something small like that, to where 10% of the board is covered inside the trunk and the other 90% is sticking out the back. It's like, bro, just put it on top. What are you doing? It's just silly boy talk.
It was really stupid. It was good
And they're
though.
complaining about, I think, Nigeria too, when they got there, and like, oh, all the hotels were $30 a night, and like it, adjusted for inflation, that's like over $250 a night. That's a lot. It's expensive.
It is. Oh, and then they're at the gas station. They're at the gas station.
Oh,
And
a
they say,
dollar
yeah.
for a gallon.
It was $1 for a gallon of gas, and then it goes up to like the sign, and it's AGIP. It was a Jeep, and it was just,
Oh yeah,
it was the stupidest joke, but it was so funny.
yeah. Adjusted for inflation, $30 in 1965 is $273 a night for a
Oof.
hotel. That's crazy.
It's
That's
not
a
that
lot.
crazy here in California.
$1 a gallon in 1965, inflation $9 a gallon.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So that's why they were mad. Like rightfully so. That's fucking expensive.
Yeah,
They're
that
getting
is.
hosed. Good movie. Good.
Great
stuff.
fucking movie. I think we've honestly touched upon almost every part of the movie. Now that I think about it.
The one other thing, talking about the perfect wave, and that was in Cape St. Francis, South Africa.
Yeah.
Like the only time where I felt like Bruce was just like, damn, this is like where you really realize like he is just having the time of his life, is when he talked about how the perfect wave was, and he's just going all in. They're breaking like they're coming in diagonally, so you can just ride them forever. And he kind of pauses and he goes, "Damn, just think of all the wasted waves we haven't ridden, and all the wasted waves that won't be ridden after we leave." I was like, "Whoa, damn, dude, it's kind of deep."
Yeah,
that was just like
you can ride for miles, and he says,
he said you could ride forever. He said you could just ride forever, which obviously is not real, but he said, yeah, you could just ride forever. He said, just think of all the wasted waves before us and all the wasted waves that will be unridden after we leave. I was like, dude, this guy's like all about this. He's all in. Like he actually truly loves what he's doing right now.
Yeah, you could not have gotten a better narrator for this movie.
So good. So
it's amazing.
Damn good.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. That's it for my notes, dude. That's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Do you care to talk about any of the other songs? Like, I feel like that's not even the point of this episode, really.
Nah.
Because I thought it was going to be more about the music going into it, but then after doing the research, or like no research because there's nothing, much about the music. But
yeah, it's just it's basic surf. Like if we were gonna do surf, like a surf album, we for sure just gonna do Dick Dale.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that's what's gonna happen. The Sandals again. I guess this could be a wrap up. This could be it.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Wait. Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap up the music. Let's wrap up the movie, and then we'll give it 2 ratings. We're gonna give it a music rating, and we're gonna give it a movie rating. So with that, if you don't already know, we have a world famous 3-point rating system where 3 is a perfect album, perfect movie. 2 is a good album or movie you would watch again, recommend to others. 1 is a bad album or movie. It's worth watching once, but you don't like it. And then 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard or seen. So what's your wrap up on the music and movie and your rating? Go.
So if you take this album on its own, it's not the best like surf rock, like in any way, shape, or form. It's not even like a top 10. Mm-hmm. It's just not. There's a couple songs. I think there's like 4 songs on here. There's 2 songs that are beyond bangers on their own for sure, without even needing the movie. And there's 2 more songs I think are actually really, really good. But everything else, like you need the movie. You need the movie. It's a companion piece. This is a band that didn't do much before, didn't really do anything after, and they've only reconvened a couple times. They played at the fucking the Galaxy or the Observatory now.
Yeah.
And it was like
right?
It was sold out, packed house. Fuck me, I would go.
Decent sized venue, yeah.
And they probably brought like a projector and played "Endless Summer" in the background.
Oh,
like that's,
you have to.
Fuck me, you come on.
Have to.
Stupid talk. So, I'd die. So given all that, like I do love surf rock a lot. I'm no dummy. Like I know most of it sounds the goddamn same. The dummy here. But I like this. I'm very much into surf rock now more than like ever with this vinyl thing, and it's really cool and I dig it. It's definitely like a regional thing to be really into surf rock. But like it's accessible music, and it kind of goes for everybody. And surf rock is something that you can just listen to on any planet and feel good. And this movie proves it. This movie proves that you don't have to be a surfer. Oh, that reminded me of a friend of the pod, Kevin Vu. He used to put on his AIM away messages, "Only a surfer knows how it feels."
Did he really?
Yeah.
He surfed?
Oh, it was so.
Kevin surfed?
Oh, he played drums too, but remember that big jump set he had?
Oh, you're right.
Remember how good he was? Mm-hmm. That's how good he was at surfing too.
Did you ever surf with him?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's right. Oh, but only surfer knows how it feels.
Okay.
Yeah. So like as an album on its own, if I take the movie away completely from this is forgettable stuff. This is probably a 2 just because of the couple songs here that are beyond bangers. But like the song that's the biggest banger is the theme song, right? That's your biggest banger.
Yeah. Barrel.
That bass line, the doo, that's Green Day. Green Day fucking took that and did their own surf rock version on Nimrod. Doom, 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 doom. Same thing. And that was like them paying. That's the exact same chord. What are you talking about? Every note for note, it's the same thing. It's exactly the same.
Okay.
It's not. It's note for note the same thing. They're just riffing a little bit different.
So
Now
good.
they're going higher. Yeah, but that's all right. On its own, it's fine. It's like a 2. The movie, however, the movie is inspiring. Like I said, it's not just a bunch of guys going out surfing and hanging 10, bro. And I think they did very little drugs too while on the trip. From what I read, there was very little pot smokage going on.
I mean, where would they get it?
Yeah, that's the thing.
So.
And then they don't have a lot of money, so like
Yeah.
that's the other thing.
$50,000 budget, 3 dudes traveling the world for 2 months probably.
Which seems like maybe like a lot, like inflation wise, but I mean he had to borrow like a lot of that money too, so they just didn't have a lot of money. A lot of that money went to like buying all of it went to buying plane tickets, hotels. But like it's an inspirational movie. It's about getting out there, getting out of your comfort zone, conquering something, and I don't know, just exploring the world, seeing what the world has to offer. And again, like I said, our Europe trip was super dope, and I loved it. And I've since like done other things, like I've worked in Mexico, and like all these things are just eye-opening experiences, and I'm still learning to this day things that I think would don't even cross my mind. I don't think about. And then somebody says something, holy fuck, I never even thought about that. That's crazy. And I think this movie evokes that kind of response. Evokes that, like I said, wanderlust. That's why we watch the Travel Channel. That's why we like Property Brothers. That's why people watch these shows, because we like to see the world, but we got to go see it. We can't just watch it. We got to go do it. Got to get out there.
It's true.
Got to
Very
get
true.
out there. So as a movie, this is a fucking 3. That's stupid. If you don't, nobody gives us a 3. This is a perfect fucking movie. This is a perfect movie.
God.
And even the namesake, even the endless summer. Like we've all had endless summers. We all have summers where we're like, God damn, that was a fucking good summer. The summer out of high school, that was a fucking good summer. We all just felt free. We all just felt like, even though high school wasn't like that bad. Like, I mean, it wasn't tough.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're all smart enough to get through high school, and it wasn't a big deal. But like that first summer out of high school was just like, God damn, what are we gonna do with our lives? I don't know. Let's just hang out. And that's like perfect summer.
There was no freedom. There was no freedom like that. Outside of like, I mean, well, you got your license when you were 18, but
yeah,
you know, outside of getting my license when I was 16, and then also the summer. I mean, the day I graduated high school, that night we all graduated high school. We didn't even do anything super crazy that night, but just that entire summer was fucking unreal.
It was so liberating. It was so freeing. It was you felt like such a different person, and like we were still too young to even understand like the actual problems that adults will have to face at some point, but we're old enough now to disassociate ourselves with like rage style. Like, fuck you. I'm gonna do what you tell me. Like, come on. I'm an adult now. I graduated.
It was that perfect period where you had literally no responsibilities, and yet you had no. I mean that the first few weeks after high school, we had no jobs for the most part, or nothing we cared about.
Yeah, nothing we cared about. For the first summer, we had nothing job we cared about.
Yeah.
It was about just watching as many movies in the theaters we can. I mean, dude, every Saturday or Sunday, Ryan and I used to watch 3 movies every fucking Saturday or Sunday after high school.
Yeah, all the movie hopping.
Dude,
we would
3
just pay
movies
for one
a
movie.
day. It's crazy,
Yeah.
and we didn't care. Didn't even eat. Didn't buy anything. Cheap as fuck. Drink water. I brought sunflower seeds and spit them all over the fucking floor like an asshole.
Oh, dude, that was terrible. And then also, we wouldn't even drink. We didn't even drink at that point.
I wouldn't even drink. That's crazy.
We just like we just trespassed a lot.
A lot of trespassing.
And a little bit of vandalism, but mostly trespassing. But that's all we did. Like the summer after high school, that's all we fucking did.
And that's
no drinking, no drugs. It was like the purest of purest you could be as a young person, I feel, because you had no hindrance, you know, with substances, and it was just straight up fun that summer. That was wild.
And so. I think that word, like that word endless, or that phrase endless summer, that's very, I don't know, it's very in itself. This is one of those words that you read endless summer, you think like, dude, it automatically puts you into a place. It automatically makes your mind jog and go to a place where you thought you had a really good summer. even if without
Yeah.
even seeing what Endless Summer is about, if you didn't see the tagline, if someone just said, "Hey, like, have you ever seen the movie Endless Summer?" or "What do you think? What do you think it's about?" And before you even think about what it's about, you're automatically going into your mind and thinking, "Damn, like, what was the best summer I had?" And why do you think about like that when you hear the phrase "endless summer"? It's just a really good phrase. It's a really good tagline for a movie, and it's great. It's such a great movie. And my mom was out here
Yeah,
this weekend.
absolutely.
And she was like falling asleep halfway through it, but she'd wake up at times and then she'd laugh really hard at like his jokes because they're just so stupid. And she's like, "What are you watching?" I was like, "It's an Endless Summer." And she's like, "Oh wow, this is kind of funny." And I was like, "What do you think?" She's like, "Oh, it's really good." And she loved it. And she's seen it before in her younger days, but now she pretends that she's older than she is. But I don't know. Yeah, it was a 3.
Hot damn.
3 out of 3.
All right. So my final thoughts here. I agree with you. Musically, it's good. It's just good. That's it. It doesn't blow me away. Dick Dale did it 100 times better, and you cannot. Wait, what am I trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
The music is so much better when you, in the context of the movie, and I'm just gonna end up repeating everything you said.
Sure, do it.
Like
I want to
honestly,
hear it again. I want to hear it again.
there's not much substance musically. I mean, it's a band like you said that like we said, only put out like this album, a couple other things here and there. This is their magnum opus, I guess you could say. And that's a word. That's a term I have not said in a long time.
It's their only opus.
Yeah, that's true. But this record for me, it's a 2 out of 3. It's really good. It's fun. I'm really glad I have it on vinyl, and you should be too, because you have it on vinyl now too.
Yeah.
It's still a lot of fun to listen to. I listened to it today on the way home from work, and I was stoked. Like I was just so happy about it. And this movie, I watched it 3 times this week. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, and I've seen this movie dozens of times, dozens of times. It's over the years. It's just so much fun. It means so much. And what you said about the title and the tagline itself, the endless summer, it evokes so many emotions for everybody. Everybody has a different viewpoint, a different memories on what their best summer, what particular summers mean to them. And I mean, I've obviously had a lot of really great summers as a kid, as an adult, and her fucking in our 20s. I mean,
Dude, Summer of the Loco. That was a good one.
Summer 2010, man. That is the Summer of the Loco. That is one summer I will never forget. That was wild. But I mean, it's so funny because like for me, I have the summers when I was a kid, and it was just straight innocent and just so much fun, just being idiot fucking kids. And then like you said, when we finished high school, we had that summer. That one summer was so memorable. I mean, kind of in different ways because we kind of had a different group of friends here and there, but then we all came together too, and we all had a blast that summer. And then we have the Summer of the Loco, like you were saying, summer of 2010. That summer was we had started, partying more and meeting new people, and just there were a lot of life-changing things happened that particular summer as well. So
that was the summer that I was in Portland because I came back and you guys already started the Summer of the Loco.
Oh no, you came back from Mexico. You weren't in Portland. You went to Portland after. You went to Portland after the Summer of the Loco. You were in Mexico for like a month, and so like right before you left to Mexico, that's when the Loco was starting to get its rise. And while you were gone in Mexico, that's when we were going apeshit with the Loco.
Because the first time I had it was at that guy's house, the waterfall friend of Tammy's.
Oh, at Nathan's, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, dude,
yeah.
We had some fucking fun parties at that house.
I remember,
God,
you had me try this lemon one or lemonade one, and it was fucking disgusting.
Oh, it was terrible. It was all terrible.
But then, like, you drink it and something else.
Yeah, it was a different kind of drunk.
Yeah, so that again, like that was another unreal summer for like me too, like Summer of the Loco because of the Mexico trip, and that's like stupid stuff.
Yeah, I mean, but when you think about it too, I mean, for me at least, it was a lot of the people that we met and a lot of people we were hanging out with at the time. I mean, a lot of those people I don't talk to anymore. and it's fine. I don't need to talk to them. I mean, it was a great memories of that those 3-4 months, and man, dude, it was just a fucking great
Honestly,
summer.
like not to toot our own horns here, but I feel we are very okay with just having like a great night, a great week, a great summer with somebody, some people, and just like enjoying the moment that we have with them, and being okay with never talking to them again. But at least we have that. At least we have that.
Yeah, I mean, look at somebody like Aaron Dillon. We spent like 3 years where we were always hanging out.
We're attached.
All
to
of
the
us
hip.
were just, and then you just think shit happens. We just stop kind of talking to each other.
Yeah.
Pat's another one. Pat. I mean, I still love Pat. Pat's a great guy.
Sure.
But I barely talk to the guy anymore.
And you don't need
It's
to.
just-
It's
It's fine.
take what you had. Don't take it for granted. Enjoy the moment. Carpe diem nuts,
Absolutely.
homie. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I'm fucking going down this nostalgia rabbit hole, man. We can go on
Dude,
for days.
endless summer, man. I'm telling you, just that tagline.
It's
alone
per-
is
it's-
just
it's
so
perfect 3 out of
fucking
3.
Good. It's so
It is. It is. It's a fucking amazing. It's this movie. It evokes so many emotions, and it's so insane to think that we weren't even there. We were not even a thought. Like our parents were children at this point
I know.
when this movie came out. My mom was 4 years old when this movie came out.
And we were never into surfing that much.
Yeah, but yet this movie just means so much. There's just something so weird and just captivating about it. And I don't know what it is.
Dude, the Joshua Tree trip that we did, like, come on.
Dude, that was
One of the greatest. Honestly, one of the greatest. It was like 2 or 3 nights. One of the greatest.
It was 2 nights. Yeah, I know it was 2 nights. Yeah, the first night was when the guy cracked his head open because he was tripping on the. Cause he took so many shrooms, he fucking
fell down like a
tripped and he
small
fell.
cliff.
Yes, fell down, hit his head on a rock. He's like, "Oh, I'm good, guys."
Blood
Finished out the
everywhere.
weekend with us. The next
did,
night, remember,
yeah.
like 50 people showed up in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Bonfires everywhere.
Massive
was fucking-
bonfires.
That was fucking nuts. That was a fun trip.
That was a good one.
But in Josh Tree, the middle of the fucking desert in November, it was like 25 degrees out. Not prepared for that.
We had we had those. Remember, we had those military surplus
The military-
sleeping bags, and like it
Yeah.
got hot. Like they worked so well. Like it got fucking hot.
Like we weren't even sleeping in tents. We were sleeping on rocks. Like,
Well, that
like
was-
giant fucking rocks.
Like I can imagine, like because we were a lot younger, and now, dude, if I sleep on a rock, like I'm not sleeping. There's no fucking way I can sleep on a rock.
Yeah,
I need at least some cushion, otherwise I will not sleep. But like we slept on a rock, on the side of a fucking rock,
On the
Comfortably.
like, not a cliff, but it was like a
a sloped rock.
drop. Yeah. Yeah, when it was 25 degrees. It was fucking nuts.
Yeah, that's a guy that we don't talk to really ever. But I mean, if we ever got with him again, then it would be like nothing, no time ever passed between us.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You just make these crazy memories with certain people, and I don't know. It's cool, man. Nah.
In the summer.
It was a great time. Great times. So yeah, like I said, I gave the music part of it a 2 out of 3, and then the movie itself a perfect 3 out of 3 because that's just straight silly boy talk. If you don't rate it that.
It's a perfect
So-
movie.
All right, do we have anything else on this stuffs?
That's
good?
it. That's all.
All right, well, thank you all for listening to the podcast. You know the drill. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Keep listening, tell all your friends, and yeah, enjoy your summer because it's almost summertime now. Enjoy this fucking endless summer, and fucking that's it. That's all. Back on. The next thing here is Regina Spektor. She put out a song called "Up the Mountain." Why are you laughing? Because my voice, fucking ass. My voice like completely went out. This is a tough
regionality
argument.
aside, what are you fucking stupid? Like you fall down, hit your head again? What are you talking about? You think exotic music is more popular than surf rock? Like just by listens,
Well-
there's little kids throwing rocks into the ocean as they were surfing, just like fucking.
Yeah, I remember that part.
As a little kid, I threw rocks everywhere. I don't know why kids do it. It's just
Dude, I fucking still throw rocks.
why do we throw rocks? I don't know.
I'm 35 years old. I will still throw a rock into water. I don't give a fuck.
I know.
Looks
I don't know
cool.
why. It does look cool. You want to see how far you can throw it. You want to see if it
Yeah.
curves. You want to see if you can skip. There's so many reasons to throw rocks.
You want to see how much of a splash there is. You want to see if you can hear it. It's fucking. Who doesn't want to throw a rock into water?